For London Fashion Week, the Underground has seen a change, and it's here at Bond Street. Or at least it was. Last week, the station was renamed Burberry Street. This is a promotion for the fashion label Burberry. The signage was changed and the roundels were temporarily in the colour that Burberry refers to as night blue. Now, this sort of thing is not without precedent. There have been plenty of promotional changes of identity on the TfL network over the years. For instance, this PlayStation promo at Oxford Circus a couple of years ago. There have been more permanent ones. The tram stop at Ampere Way used to be called IKEA Ampere Way as a result of a sponsorship. It might be argued that Arsenal Station has, since 1932, been promoting Arsenal Football Club. Before that, it was called Gillespie Road. Although these days, Arsenal Station is no longer the closest station to the Arsenal football ground, but that's another story. Even Bond Street itself could have been named after Selfridges if Harry Gordon Selfridge had had his way when the station was under construction in 1900. I have seen different reactions to the Burberry Street change of identity, both online and in real life. Some see it as a bit of fun. Some dislike it intensely. I saw people taking photos of the new sign. I've seen people complaining about TfL selling out. I've seen at least a couple of people complain that it's a massive waste of money on TfL's part, although I should point out it's not TfL paying for this. Any brand wanting to do a promo on the Underground has to stump up substantial amounts of moolah. The figure I've seen quoted for this kind of promo is that it starts at £500,000. But I suspect that given the scale and prominence here, it's probably considerably more. Advertising is an unfortunate necessity for the Tube and always has been. I am the last person to complain about a company making money off advertising. The only reason I can do this full-time is because of the income this channel makes off adverts and sponsorships. Adverts pay my bills, my train fare, and my all-girl army of kung fu killers. And the Underground has always carried advertising posters. In fact, the reason the iconic Underground roundel exists is because a sign was needed that would stand out from the simply enormous number of adverts plastered all over the station platforms in the early 20th century. And right now, TfL is very short of money. Any and all financial assistance is very welcome at present. However, and I warn you that I'm going to be no fun at all here, I can't say that I'm a fan of this particular promo, and that's because it's so confusing. Every platform roundel, except this one where someone's tried to scrape it off, says Burberry Street. Most of the line diagrams say Burberry Street. Even some of the entrances say it. Now, it's true to say that not all of the signs have been changed. Some entrances still say Bond Street, some maps have been missed, and the trackside roundels are as they were. But there's enough altered signs to cause confusion for passengers. If you come in on the Elizabeth line, say, you'll only see Burberry Street. I had to assist 2 groups of passengers who weren't sure they were at the right station, and I saw 4 more who were asking other people. I've heard similar stories from a lot of other folk. Now, of course, all this is anecdotal evidence. I'm just some guy on YouTube. But I'm sure you can see the problem here. If you know the Tube well, you know that there's no Burberry Street, and you probably know that Bond Street should be here. But Bond Street sees a lot of tourists. It's a major shopping destination and a major interchange between 3 lines. It's not reasonable to assume that every passenger will know what's going on. It's not like there are signs at the station saying, "Watch out, Bond Street has a different name now." Now look, I have no problem with a bit of fun with the roundels. I like the Pride roundels, I like the War Memorial roundels. I think they did something to do with the game of Foot the Ball at Southgate a couple of years back, and I have a feeling there was something about some space program involving Piccadilly. I don't know. The point I'm making is that individual touches make the Underground more interesting. They liven up the journey. But, in most cases, the alterations to the roundel do not prevent them from serving their purpose. In other words, they still show the name of the station. But the Burberry Street roundels do not. I'm going to invoke the spirit of the former commercial manager of the Underground, the late Frank Pick, whose obsession was elegant efficiency. Projects under the supervision of him and his collaborators were designed to be easy to use to facilitate rapid movement of people through the system. It's a philosophy that informs the design of the system to this day. If people have to stop and think whether they're at the right station, or if they're getting off at the wrong station because they thought they'd made a mistake the first time, that is not elegant or efficient. That is not providing a useful service. If Burberry wanted to get the signs turned blue, if they wanted to incorporate their logo, then whatever, that's fine. Even if they had a couple of roundels per platform, it probably wouldn't impact things too badly. But I fear I draw the line at renaming the station, even if it was temporary. Of course, it now occurs to me that by talking about the name change even negatively, I am in fact justifying Burberry's investment by disseminating the advert all over the world at no cost to them. Oh well. Well, I hope you enjoyed this poorly signed tale from the tube. If so, please do click like and consider subscribing for more. I'd be interested to hear your opinions. Do you agree with me, or do you think I'm just being an old fuddy-duddy? I've tried to be as fair and even-handed as possible in this. Unlike certain news outlets that have covered the story, I have no axe to grind against TfL or any associated persons or organisations. I present this video in the spirit of, I hope, constructive criticism. I would like, as always, to thank my donors on Ko-fi and Patreon and here on YouTube for your support. You are the hefty fee to my advertising promo. And I will see you all again very soon for another Tale from the Tube.